When was the last time you were in a meeting, heard a mediocre idea being applauded, while yours, more thoughtful, died in your throat? You know this feeling. The silent frustration of having the answer, of seeing the complete picture, but being perceived as an extra in your own life. The world seems to celebrate noise, the expansive ego, the performative extrovert. And in all this noise, your silence is mistaken for weakness. Your calm is interpreted as passivity. You carry the belief, perhaps, secretly, that you need to change who you are to be respected, that you need to become louder, more aggressive, more performative. Here is the truth that will change the framework of your reality. Your quietness is not a bug in your system. It is the operating system of a higher and rarer form of power. Figures like Keanu Reeves or Tommy Shelby from Peaky Blinders himself do not command respect by the volume of their voices, but by the density of their silence. They understand a fundamental rule of human psychology that most ignore. Attention is cheap. Respect is expensive. Attention is requested. Respect is commanded. In this video, we are not going to give you tips to be more extroverted. That would be an insult to your nature. Instead, we will decode the psychology of silent authority. We will give you a set of tactics and mental models to transform your calm into a strategic weapon. You will not learn to pretend to be someone else. You will learn to be lethally effective by being exactly who you are. Because in this game, whoever speaks loudest loses. Whoever understands the dynamics of power wins. Chapter 1. The Science Behind Silent Authority. Why does a surgeon's whisper during a complex operation carry more weight than the screams of a panicked onlooker? The answer is not in the volume, but in the biology of perception. Your brain, and the brain of everyone around you, is programmed for one thing above all others: survival. And to survive, it desperately needs to conserve energy. Loud individuals, quick to speak and expansive in their gestures, force the brain of those observing them to spend more resources to process them. Every interruption, every excessive gesture, every unnecessary word is a small cognitive tax. This generates a slight, yet real, sense of friction and exhaustion in those who interact with them. You feel it when someone simply will not stop talking. It is tiring. In contrast, a calm person, with deliberate speech and economical movements, is neurologically easy to process. This cognitive fluency is interpreted by the primitive brain as safety, competence, and consequently, power. Calmness is not just a state of mind. It is a strategy of efficiency that subcommunicates control. More deeply, neuroscience shows us that aggressive and reactive behaviors activate the other person's amygdala, the center of fear, and the fight or flight reaction. A boss who yells may obtain momentary obedience through intimidation, but will never gain genuine respect or loyalty. Cooperation generated by fear is unstable, resentful, and lacks creativity. The quiet leader operates on a different neurological level. Their deliberate calm subcommunicates a powerful and resonant message. I have already analyzed the variables. I am in control of my own emotional state, and therefore, I am in control of the situation. This demonstration of internal control deactivates the other's amygdala and activates the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for logical thinking, problem solving, and trust. You do not generate fear, you invite clarity. The tactical application of this is the inverse reactivity principle. In a discussion that starts to heat up, the moment you feel your blood rise and your panic instinct screams for you to react, to speak louder, to defend yourself, do the exact opposite. Lower your volume, slow down your speech by about 25%, and reduce your gestures to the bare minimum. Maintain eye contact. Observe what happens. The other person, whose nervous system is prepared for an escalation, is met with a wall of calm. Instinctively, they will begin to mirror your behavior, lowering their own reactivity to align with the center of power you have silently established. You do not win the fight. You make it irrelevant. Chapter 2. The fatal mistake of the silent man. Many men are quiet, but there is a chasm of perception between the silence of a mountain and the silence of a vacuum. This is the mistake that annihilates the potential for influence of intelligent and competent men. They confuse the virtue of quietness with the vice of passivity. Think about it. The quiet leader, the mountain, is silent, but possesses an unshakable center of gravity. His silence is a deliberate choice, a space he controls to observe, analyze, and only then act with surgical precision. His quietness subcommunicates. I am here, and I am not going anywhere. It is a solid presence. The silent passive, the vacuum, is quiet for a different reason. Fear. Fear of conflict. Fear of judgment. Fear of taking up space. His silence is not a choice. It is an absence of conviction. It is an empty space that begs to be filled by the opinions and will of others. His quietness whispers, please, decide for me. Do not confront me. Let's do an incisive analysis so you can diagnose yourself. In your verbal framing, do you use phrases that give away power before you even start? Like, sorry to bother you, but ... Or, I could be wrong, but ... This conditions the listener to devalue what comes next. The leader uses clean, firm statements. My perspective is this. Or, what we need to do is the following. When faced with disagreement, what is your instinctive reaction? The passive man immediately gives in to relieve social tension, betraying his own conviction in exchange for a fragile harmony. The quiet leader maintains eye contact, remains physiologically calm, and defends his position without any aggressiveness. He understands that he does not need to win the argument, but he refuses to lose his own respect in the process. And your body language. The passive person shrinks, as if wanting to become invisible, averts their gaze, gestures apologetically. The leader occupies his space in a relaxed manner. His movements are symmetrical. His gaze is direct, but not threatening. He owns his physical territory. The most important muscle for the quiet man who desires respect is that of calm. Disagreement. The first tool to build this is the calibrated no. The next time you disagree with something low risk, a movie suggestion, a plan for the weekend, instead of justifying or apologizing, simply say calmly, I see it differently, or no, that does not work for me, and then stop talking. Let the silence do the work. The discomfort you will feel is your nervous system adapting. You are training it to tolerate social friction without disintegrating, breaking the pattern of passivity. Chapter 3. The Vacuum Power Tactic. In any human interaction, there is an unwritten law. Whoever feels a greater need to fill the silence is the one who holds less power. The common man fears silence. He sees it as a social vacuum, an awkward moment that needs to be filled with words, any words. The quiet leader understands the truth. Silence is not a shield, it is a sword. We call this strategic application vacuum power. The psychology behind it is brutally simple. The human mind abhors uncertainty. A vacuum of sound at a strategic point in the conversation forces the other person's brain into a state of slight panic. The pressure to fill this void becomes almost uncontrollable, and in doing so, to relieve their own anxiety, they often reveal their true intentions, their insecurities, or their negotiation margins that they would never reveal to a direct question. The process is subtle, but devastatingly effective. First, you set the stage. Ask a key, incisive question or listen to an important statement. What is your final price? I need this project delivered by Friday. I feel like I am not being heard in this relationship. Then, instead of reacting, justifying, agreeing, or disagreeing, you initiate the vacuum. You stop talking, but it is not an empty silence. You maintain neutral and relaxed eye contact, like a curious observer. Do not show anger nor agreement, just a calm, patient interest. Internally, count for 3 to 4 seconds. To the other person's nervous system, this pause will feel like an eternity of pressure. Invariably, they will give in. The capitulation to the vacuum will sound like this. The salesperson will say, ... but for you, I can see what I can do. Your boss will say, ... but if there's any real problem, let me know and we'll see. Your partner will say, ... what I really mean is that I miss you. They start negotiating with themselves for your benefit, filling the silence with the truth. FBI negotiator Chris Voss calls this effective silence, using it to get criminals to keep talking until they reveal crucial information. In an office, you use it to get your coworker to stop making excuses and present the real solution. In a negotiation, you use it to get the other party to reveal their bottom line without you having to press. You said absolutely nothing, but you controlled the entire direction of the conversation. You created a space for the truth to emerge. Chapter 4. The Predator versus Prey Mental Model. Long before humans developed language, we communicated power, status, and intention through movement. Your reptilian brain, the oldest and most instinctive part of your mind, still operates under these primal rules. And the main rule, etched in our DNA, is this: predators are economical, prey are frantic. Analyze the behavior that signals low status and anxiety, the behavior of prey. It manifests in wasted movements, which we can call status leaks. Shaking your leg, clicking a pen repeatedly, touching your face, biting your nails. Each of these tics is a leak of nervous energy. Your body is sub-communicating to everyone in the room. I am not comfortable here. I am ready to run. Another sign is quick reactivity. Being startled by noises, checking your phone with every notification, reacting instantly to any stimulus. This signals that you are not in control of your environment, but rather at its mercy. Your attention is a cheap resource, available to the latest stimulus. Now, contrast this with the behavior that signals high status and control, that of the predator. The main characteristic is economy of movement. Every gesture has a purpose. He gestures to emphasize a point, not to calm himself down. He turns his head slowly, absorbing information. He picks up a glass of water with deliberation. The subconscious message is powerful. My energy is valuable, and I use it with intention and precision. This translates into deliberate action. He observes the environment, processes the information, and only then acts. There is no hurry, even under pressure. This calm in a chaotic environment becomes a beacon of stability, and people are instinctively drawn to this gravity of power. How do you begin to reprogram your own body language? With a movement audit. Record yourself in a video call, or simply observe yourself consciously for 10 minutes during work. Your goal is not to fix everything at once. Just identify one prey movement that you repeat. It could be touching your chin, rocking in your chair, or any other tic. Your only task for the next week is to become aware of this single movement and eliminate it. By doing so, you are not just changing a superficial habit. You are reprogramming the perception others have of you on a primal and subconscious level. You are fixing a status leak, and in doing so, increasing the pressure of your personal power. Chapter 5. The Final Mental Switch. We have arrived at the root cause. The fundamental reason why so many resort to noise and performance is a deep and invisible addiction. An addiction to the dopamine of external validation. Every compliment, every forced laugh, every sign of approval from a superior is a small injection that makes you feel good momentarily. But this dependency is the very architecture of weakness. It hands over the control of your emotional state to unstable audiences, individuals, and algorithms. Your self-esteem is outsourced. The quiet leader operates with a different operating system, one that he has deliberately installed. He has made the most important change of all, the switch from an external locus of control to an internal one. This is where the game is won or lost. The man with an external locus of control lives in a state of perpetual anxiety. His thinking is, I will feel successful if they approve of my presentation, or I will have value if she accepts me. The power is always with them. This makes him fragile, reactive, and ultimately manipulable. The man with an internal locus of control anchors himself in an unshakable source of power, himself. His thinking is, I will be successful if I deliver a presentation that meets my own standard of excellence, regardless of the reaction. The power is with you. This is not arrogance, it is stability. It generates calm, focus, and a powerful detachment from the outcome. The tool to install this new operating system is the internal intent statement. Before any performance event, an important meeting, a job interview, a first date, you need to define your success criteria in terms you 100% control. Instead of I hope they like me, your internal statement said to yourself should be, my intention is to communicate my message clearly, maintain my composure, and act according to my values, no matter what happens. When you make this fundamental shift, the external result becomes feedback, not a verdict on your worth. The opinion of others ceases to be the goal and becomes just data to be analyzed coldly. This shift is what finally makes silence comfortable. You no longer need the noise of external approval because you already have the clear, firm sound of your own internal authority. Concluding what you have learned today is not a set of social tricks. It is a system. A system that begins with the understanding that your calm is neurologically perceived as power. We reviewed the fatal mistake of confusing quietness with passivity and gave you the first tool to correct it, the calibrated no. We showed you how to turn silence into a weapon with vacuum power, forcing clarity in any conversation. We dissected how your body language, your economy of movement, subcommunicates your status on a primal level, and how a simple movement audit can begin to rewrite that message. But most importantly, we arrived at the root cause of it all, the mental switch to an internal locus of control, the decision to seek your own approval, and not the cheap validation of the outside world. The path of the quiet leader is not about becoming someone else. It is about removing the layers of social conditioning that told you your nature was a weakness. Your calm is not passivity. It is a reservoir of power. Your silence is not empty. It is a space for strategy. Your observation is not shyness. It is data collection. The transformation does not happen overnight. It happens with the decision to practice. It starts the next time you feel the urge to fill a silence and, instead, you allow yourself to breathe. It starts when you defend an idea without apologizing. It starts when you eliminate a single nervous gesture. This is silent power. It is not loud. It does not seek attention. And that is why it cannot be ignored. Now, a commitment. What was the most powerful insight you had from this video? Leave your answer in the comments below. Reading each other's commitments strengthens our community.